Live on YouTube. Whoopsies. There goes 40 minutes of the stream. Is it actually live or is it telling me it's live? Okay, it's actually live. One of the main reasons why I bought that game design book is because I was thinking about Ronin. I was like, I know what I want it to be, but I also don't know what I want the combat to be. Because at one point I was like, I want it to be like the Jedi Knight games. Then I was at one point I was like, maybe we do something like Doom with like a Doom weapon wheel. You can like switch weapons. And then I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna have to figure out what the game will be. You're best in place. How's it going? Yeah, Ronin was like a very old, much older project. I was still learning a lot about game development, I think, at that time. I'm still learning a lot to this day. When I stopped working on Ronin, I think past me knew shit was like going all over the place. And then I thought Suit for Hire would be a very short-term project, yet here we are 5 years later. I think I'm okay with that, though, because I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the type of games I want to make. And so when I work on Ronin next, I think I'll have a better picture of what I want to do. I think. Yeah. Yeah, I was like lost with Ronin. Like you can even see it in my devlogs. Like you can see it on my YouTube channel when I was working on it. I was kind of all over the place with the game. Like if I boot it up right now, the Steam version that we had, I was still kind of all over the place too. God, the Steam page looks like ass for this game though. Oh man, I'm so disappointed with it. But like the combat was all over the place. It had a lot of like performance issues. The scope, it was like way too big of a scope. You know? The combat was like, felt weird. But I think if I were to get back to it, I think I'll have a better idea. Like you can see, like, look at the weapon wheel. I had this like whole idea for a weapon wheel. It's like a... I still think the UI is sick. There's some cool stuff, cool ideas in here. But, yeah. I don't even remember what this shit had. Slash the boxes? I don't think we have the boxes in here. Oh, it's a dev. Oh, shit. Can we go back to the... Oh, shit. Yo, Corey. Saw the Jack Frags video. Congrats. Hope it helps. It definitely is helping. For sure. But thank you. Yeah, the combat was off. I think the combat was better in the older versions of the game than the current version. World Dev Layer. Was this the one? Where the fuck I am? Where the hell am I? I don't think I submitted the... I don't think it's added. Tutorial area? Oh, there's a tutorial. Well, that's something. Yeah. This was a very old project. It definitely did shoot up some of the sales. You have golden. But yeah, I think when I work on this project next time, I would change a lot of it. I would change a lot. Like I think I'd recode the entire thing. Probably. From scratch in Godot. Maybe not from scratch in Godot, but oh, that was the end of it. Oh, okay. In Unity? No, I would just remake it in Unreal. It's completely separate regardless. Completely separate. But survival mode. It's not a thing. Oh wait, it was. It was a thing. I had a survival mode? What? I think this was when playtesters were trying to test the combat. So I wanted to test it out. Yeah, the movement was the best part of the game. The movement, I think, was fine. It's just the combat is ass. It would need a lot of work. I also think the AI is broken in this. Yeah, the movement I think was the best part of the game. Like playtesters, they found themselves just kind of running around the levels, which I think is good, but yeah. Actually, I think the AI is broken in this level. Yeah. This could be the next project. I just have to redo it. Like, what else did I even have in this? None of the enemies are dropping guns. Oh, it actually, their AI is working. They're just not like... Yeah, boom. I was trying to go for like a Jedi Academy style. So it's like if I run to the right, I slash to the right. If I run to the left, I slash to the left. It just, I think if I wanted to go in that direction, I think I'd have to do a lot more work. It would need a lot of work. So yeah. Yeah, I like how the sparks come off of the sword. I just feel like it looks cool. That's like the name of the game for me. If it looks cool, I'm all for it. Like, I don't think you guys actually have audio of this. Here, let me turn on desktop audio and you guys can hear it. So I'm like really like, okay, I didn't know what I was doing when I was working on this project, admittedly. There were a lot of things that were so unnecessary that I put into the game. For one, here, listen to this. You can hear the buzzing of the sword when your camera gets close to it. I don't know if you guys can hear that. The most subtle, stupidest detail. It's the stupidest subtle detail. But that was one of the details. I think I would probably like work on this project a lot more and like redo it. Attention to detail is never a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, there's so many other glaring issues that I should have focused on. Oh, that guy dropped a gun. Actually, I wonder, can I give myself a gun? I think I had a cheat menu in this. Light. That's me damaging myself. What's the button, man? No clipping. On. Where the fuck I am? Yeah, I don't know. When I think this project has promise for the next game, because I think there's a lot of things I would have liked to do for Suit for Hire that I just can't do now because it's just way too far and would produce too many bugs. Like, for one, active ragdoll I think would be a really fun element of combat, is like being able to throw enemies over. Like, imagine being able to grab an enemy or kick an enemy and they like fall over things. Like, some stuff like that I think would be really fun. What about your co-op extraction server? That would still be like something I would want to make. I think that would still be something I'd want to make. I think the thing is at one point I wanted Ronin to be co-op. I think from a scope standpoint, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. Would I restart this game from scratch or try to update it? I'd reuse some of the assets and stuff. Like, I love the UI of this, right? But I would, I think I would just make it from the ground up. I'd probably just make it from the ground up. There's like lots of issues with the code in this. So, where's the crates? Do we not have the crates in here? I think it's at the level I did not push to this version. So, unless general world blockout. Nope, not in. Not in the game. I don't know. Been having a blast? Hey, thank you, Semperino. Thank you. Twilight? Unreal's pretty nice, Violet. There's definitely a lot of nice things in it. It's just a bit of a beast. There's a lot of things I think I still need to learn from, like, an optimization standpoint. A lot of things I still need to learn. I'm still a newbie. That guy's floating. Alright. I think Orca? Am I looking for the next game idea? I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm still working on Suit for Hire. I'm still working on some of the stuff for that. Can I give CE spawn item 0? I give myself a stim 1. Whatever the fuck that was. Don't know what that... Slow down time. Oh yeah, of course. The EMP. It's a glass bottle for some reason. Oh, there's the handgun. Yeah, I don't know. Here's some memories for people that used to watch this project. The gun sound. The gun sound was designed using a sniper rifle sound effect. And what the hell is this shit? What the hell is that thing? Increase max health. Alright, yeah. Grapple hook, you know, whatever. Throwing knife. Cloaking device. A grenade. Another grenade. Whatever the fuck that was. What was that? Oh yeah, that sounds awful. Okay, that one's like... Oh right, this was back when I had like an overheating mechanic. Right. Right. Yeah, whatever. Was that a barrel? It looked like it. This project? Unreal 4. Alright, anyways. Yeah, that's that game attempt thing. Doesn't this toe the same lines of Ghost Runner? I think I was working on Ronin before Ghost Runner released. But yeah, I guess. The subtle effects and things really add to this, for sure. Yeah, the subtleties I think definitely help a lot, for sure. It's just, in the whole grand scheme of things at the time, with the combat feeling like ass, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice having those details. It puts you in the world. It makes it feel like there's a lot of things that are alive. But with the problems that were there, I think I probably, at the time, could have worked on better things. Sue them? I think I would lean a lot more into the original inspiration for that game, which was essentially Mandalorian. I would probably lean a lot more into like overall inspiration of like Underworld Coruscant. I think that's probably like the direction I would want to go with it. So a lot of like floating platforms and stuff like that, especially if I go down like the roguelite path, which is what I was kind of doing with that game. I don't know. Don't know what I would do. I have no clue what I'm going to do once we move on to the next thing. I don't know. We'll see. For now, I still have Suit for Hire to handle. Beg Disney for a Star Wars license? Hell no. I'd rather just make my own IP at that point. I'd rather just make my own IP. I do think they have a lot of potential to make a Mandalorian game, but not my problem. Throwing weapons at glass, not shattering it. Let me fix that. I hate that. I throw weapons at glass, and for some reason it's not shattering it, which really annoys me. Roguelite extraction, hack and slash co-op. My only issue is I want to make one game and focus on learning C++, but I can't do C++ and multiplayer at the same time. That'll be too much for me to learn. But I want Ronin to be multiplayer. So do I work on a different game next? Just to kind of learn C++ and get that out there? Which might take a year? If I'm lucky? Knowing me, probably 2 years. Or do I just go straight into Ronin, make it single player while learning C++? I don't know. Because I can't do multiplayer yet. I'm too noob. I'm too noob. Unreal has a multiplayer framework, so you don't have to do it from scratch. You still have to do work. You can't just like, just because it has a framework, it's great. That definitely does get some of the heavy lifting out of the way, but there's still work involved with making it feel okay-ish. A smaller shit sequel using C++. I can see under the map at the elevator in Tiramisu. Come work for my studio. I can teach you the C++. I think for me, I'm just going to learn C++ by just making stuff. That's why I kind of want to use a project to do that. Attempt to make it multiplayer later on. I think that would be too difficult if I try to make it multiplayer later on. I think it's either one or the other. Because getting something to work in multiplayer, like, it is interesting because Helldivers 2 did end up doing multiplayer, and they also have the active ragdoll, so it's not impossible. I guess it's just a case of how much can we sync it so it doesn't look like there's too much desync. How's the bug fixing going? I think we're slowly squashing most of the big issues of the game, like the things that got most people annoyed. I think. Yeah. These two bugs we should fix. So honestly, we should just focus on these. And only release the patch once we fix these two. The crashing was probably stressful. It was definitely a very stressful couple of weeks. Upgrading the engine and then disabling the glass destruction VFX stuff was a good start. I think we've reduced the crashes by a huge amount. If any other crashes occur, it's probably something on that person's machine or something like happening with glass destruction. I think I noticed some stuff still playing the glass destruction, so I do have to change that. But it's better, so I'm not as stressed out. Yeah. Replicating physics in UE is a pain. Yeah, I'd have to see. Those are things I just like to learn, right? I just like to learn how can I do some of that stuff. Thank you, Strellock. Thank you. What's my favorite IP, by the way? Am I a big Star Wars fan? I like Star Wars. I like Star Wars. The Jedi Knight games were definitely a really big part of my past, especially considering I played like a collective of like 8,000 hours between Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy when I was younger. I sort of have very low interest in C++, and some off hours I've been learning Odin and some Raylibs. Nice to be low level. Of course, nice to scale to the problems you need to solve for small games in the future. I'll definitely go that route, I think. Honestly, man, do whatever makes you happy. That's what I say. Did I play a ton of Movie Battles 2? Oh, yeah. Movie Battles 2, ton of Maker mod, ton of Lugor mod, or whatever the fuck they called it. People get really sweaty in that mod. There are still clans playing that mod. Albeit they're kind of dying off, like AOD is dying off a lot, but they're, you know, to this day, I still don't know what that acronym is. To this day, I still do not know what that acronym is, but that was like the most popular server. And I think it still is one of the more popular servers. More than the average Jedi trains to become Super Jedi. If you don't use ragdolls for hurting animations, but rather use normal animations for hurts, then use ragdoll only for deaths. You don't have to replicate the deaths. Yeah, for hurt animations, like I still use an animation that plays underneath. And then the ragdoll just adds like an additive. So it just adds a bit of detail to it. I just have to, once we get into multiplayer, that's going to be a whole different ball game. That's why I kind of want to, I would love to make Ronin co-op though. I think it would be a huge sell to have that game in co-op as well. Considering it's a roguelite. Like you can look at games like for example, Risk of Rain 2. I feel like it having a co-op is such a huge element of people being able to, you know, play together and stuff like that. I feel like that's so big. It's just, I don't think I'm at the skill level to do that yet as a developer. Unfortunately. I was watching Star Wars the other day and I realized that Luke was a terrorist who killed everyone on the Death Star and Darth Vader was just a cop trying to stop him. It's really funny, that plot point, because technically Star Wars is inspired by like Nazis. So it's like you technically could paint that picture, and they do that in a lot of the latest Star Wars stuff. Like all of Andor is this whole thing where like the Imperials are like making the rebels look like terrorists, but in reality it's the Imperials that are like, you know what I mean? It's a really funny plot point when you put it that way. It's like both sides are like trying to undermine the other. It's so funny. It's really funny. It's a really funny thing. Andor's peak non-original Star Wars though? It is. I think it is proper rebel story Star Wars. It properly goes, it doesn't give a shit about lightsabers and all this bullshit that like so many writers are absolutely screwing up these days. I think it's proper just like criminal underworld, the dirty part of like rebels and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, man, what's that other one? Acolyte. Ay, 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 ay. In real life, rebels can also be classified as terrorists. That's going into politics, which I don't want to get into, but there's a lot of arguments that could be made there, yeah. But, yeah. Yeah, I think Andor's great. I think Mandalorian was good. I think it gets very overrated because of, you know, you get fandom stuff going on there. But I think Andor deserves its spot. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I was really looking forward to Boba Fett. There was some cool parts and then some parts where I'm like, wow. They screwed that up. Star Wars 1313. Hey, that could have been cool, man. That could have been cool. I think a lot of Ronin was also inspired by Star Wars 1313. Just bought the game last week and loved the top-down view. Any plans for camera adjustments and top-down view to help prevent getting shot from off-screen? Technically, enemies are not supposed to shoot you when you're off-screen. So it's weird that it's occurring. Let me look at their code again. I know I have it on my list somewhere. Somewhere in here. Where is it? I think it's in couldn't reproduce. Let me see. Where is it? Oh, enemies firing off screen and top down. Right. Let me take a look. Bit of danger. You know what it might be? Is that an enemy is on screen, they start preparing their shot, and then they get off screen, and then they still fire their shot. It's highly probable that that's what's happening. I have a feeling that's what's going on. Let's see here. Merc. Enemy on screen. Here it is. Is actor in viewport or is RV in third person mode? Okay, so see if this will open up Writer. Double clicking on things in 427 for some reason is just not working. Even though I double click it and it doesn't open up my editor. Come on, open up. Let's go. I got work to do. Yeah, I think it was I. Thank you. Boba Fett, don't remind us. I know, man. That I launched the game from Writer? No, but usually double clicking that would open it, but maybe instead I make it so instead of it being lower priority, I do self. And that should technically... I think that'll make it so they can't fire the weapon. And they would abort if they're not on screen anymore. But that being said, there's a high probability that happens often, where you end up going off screen, and then what happens is a lot of the enemies will not end up firing at you at all. So there should be a better, different solution for this. One that hopefully doesn't take too much work. I'm thinking one solution could be their indicator would pop up on the screen if they're off screen, but then I'd have to, that might be quite a bit of work to get that going. But that would be a fix. And could potentially also be in third person as well. Really, Arrows? You have to you have to launch it from Unreal, from Writer? Yeah, I guess that could be a thing. What's this application we're looking at? This is Unreal Engine 4. Quattro. I was also thinking we should make it so the gun enemies do suppressing fire more often, even though like it doesn't hit you. It might scare players. They're like, I'm getting shot at. It's all part of the job. Shot his friend. Let's see if they abandon their shot. Oh yeah, see, he's still going through with it. Hmm. Why do they hold up their gun like that? They have two modes, like they have, it's to kind of indicate that they're shooting at you. So you can see like they put their gun up. I haven't focused too much on the animation of the enemies. I've focused a lot more on the player character animations, but I think I should actually do a bit more work on the enemies as well. I think that might be good. A shortcut? They look creepy with their arms like that. I'll take it. Not sure if it's a bug exclusive to third person and third person. They like fire right away without warning sometimes, even off screen. Enemies off screen will fire at you, but you'll see the warning when they do that. So you'll see that warning that pops up. They'll shoot, but the only ones that will deal damage are those. The ones that actually have like an indicator that they're shooting at you. That's why when you see his arm like that, he's not shooting like an actual... He's doing like the James Bond move or something. I gotta fix the shotguns. They have an issue. Hey, can you not break that, please? God, I can't wait to fix the glass destruction. It's one of my favorite things of the game. And it's like crashing the game in certain levels. We should make them take into account your velocity. And that way... I wonder if there's ways that we can make the grappling more fun as well. Like, I've been thinking, like, is there a way we can somehow do some sort of button combination that makes sense to be able to, like, throw the enemy on the ground? I don't know. That might be, like, a really big feature that I think is too far ahead. Maybe look at how they did the glass destruction in the original Last of Us. My glass destruction in VFX is good. It's just the fact that it's crashing the game for some reason. And it only happens in certain levels. Which is really pissing me off. So I gotta figure out, like, why is it still happening, even with all the safety checks that I've done to it? I don't know. Niagara, I think, is just not very stable in UE4 still. In UE4. It's not very stable. I was fooled. I think once you get into UE 5.6 or greater and start building systems in C++, even if it's just remaking some of the systems, naturally become its own thing. Yeah, I think C++ will help me level up as a developer. Any plans to add new execution animation for secondary weapons other than the sword? Animations are a bit of a tough one to do, especially execution ones, because I'm not an animator by trade. I will see. There's no guarantee. I can't say, yeah. But I'd love to. I think it'd be cool to have some shotgun ones, you know? Like, I was rewatching John Wick 2, and he does that whole thing where he, like, stuffs the shotgun into his chest, and then it's, like, muffled and everything. Like, that could be pretty sick. I could see that being pretty sick. But no guarantee. Like, trust me, I think it'd be sick, too. Like, it's just... Yeah. How do you fix bugs? I really want to see what you're doing while you're doing it. Number one thing is I figure out why is it happening and what can I do to reproduce it. Then I figure out where and what is causing the issue, which is usually like figuring out where in the code. And then the how. So it's like the 5 W's. The how is how do I fix it? And that's really what there is to it. Enemies firing off screen, top down. I can make it so they don't shoot at all if you go off screen. But then the problem is that's probably going to happen a lot. I can shift the camera and top down towards the direction of the enemy shooting at you while they're shooting, but then the camera might shift a lot more than I want it to. I could add an on-screen indicator of an enemy shooting at you, but then that means I have to create the system there for that, which might be a lot more work. How about only move the camera if you get hit from shots? So we do, under the hood, I do actually move the camera a little bit whenever there's enemies on screen. I think if I leave my crosshair where it is. Yeah, we do average out the camera a little bit. You can kind of see it happening. It's just very subtle, very slow. I think the best one is an on-screen effect. Whenever they go off-screen, we show an effect like along the edge of the screen. Like if an enemy is attacking you, we do like a little thing like this and then it squeezes inside. That's the only thing I can think of doing. However, that is gonna be that'll be a lot of work to get that to work to look proper. It's one of the potential solutions that we could do there. If I've ever watched anyone work on a game, it's fascinating. It gets very boring, admittedly. It can get pretty damn boring. What about zooming out a bit more so that when you are in range of an enemy who may be firing, at least you can see them? I can do that. The only problem is there's high probability in certain levels where the FOV gets fucked up. So that could be a problem there. That being said, if we make this system, it can be used for both top-down and third-person. Could be used for both perspectives, which is nice if we do end up doing that system. What's the problem we're solving? Enemies firing from off-screen, just kind of having an indicator for a player. Like, they do play that sound effect of them shooting. So there's an audio indicator. I actually don't know why they're not suppressing fire more often. Oh, they check if the enemy's on screen. I feel like that's unnecessary for suppressing fire. I don't know if that's necessary. I actually think that reduces some of our intensity that we can have. The only problem, of course, is fail on unseen. Oh, okay, never mind. It will try to focus, but it will fail if we don't see the player. Okay, so they won't shoot unless they actually can physically see you. Do we like them shooting off screen? So they don't shoot off screen. The problem is they will start firing. So you'll see the beginning of the circle will occur. If they end up going off screen while doing it, they'll continue the shot, which is part of the problem. Now, we could cancel their shot altogether. The problem with that, though, is like the player might just like run away from the gunshots and then end up not getting hit ever. So here they won't shoot until they go on screen. So if I accidentally, like here, and then they go off screen, he's going to continue the fire. One thing we could do is, how often does that happen? I don't know how often it would happen, but it happens, right? And there's a chance that the player dies due to that happening. One thing we could do, the farther you are from the enemy, maybe we make their indicator a bit larger. You know what I mean? Or maybe we just make the indicator the cone. Maybe we make the cone larger no matter what. And that should reduce the chances of that occurring. There's another issue where it's like if you're aiming directly at the crosshair at the enemy, there's, because of perspective and whatnot, you end up missing. I have a system for that. So let's focus on two of these issues right now, which I think that's one of them in here. Yeah. Sphere? What? Where's my sphere trace? Did I spell sphere wrong? Sphere. Sphere trace. I'm being trolled. We should have a sphere trace here. Ah, here it is. Is this not being taken into account? Spear. If they're off screen, add a 10x recoil for them. Do you already have the distance being calculated? You could change the color of the circle depending on the distance. I might make it so the circle becomes larger, so it like actually appears on screen. But I do think people are asking for an on-screen indicator anyway. So we could do that, and then like should be fine. That being said, let me work on this bug because I think this is a big one. Is the enemy's players missing if they're aiming directly at the enemy? So we set the hit result. It goes into true, which is good. We casted the enemy character. And then we check for all of their shit. And then on completed, if there was a trace that was successful, which I would imagine there is, let's double check. Okay, those are all successful. Every single one of those is successful. So trace successful, then we go into here. If it's true, we check if they're valid. Then we check if they have aim assist at all. Then we check if they're valid again. Okay, sure. Then we do some checks here. Huh. Okay. I would want the enemy to shoot if they're like going for an attack. I'd want them to shoot. I just want to give the player the potential to kind of know that it's happening in some way or form. Like we do some checks and stuff, but definitely fixing it would be nice. So we have a soft aim. My problem is if you're shooting at an enemy with this kind of check thing, I don't want it to like directly do an aim assist type of thing. I think I just want it to just shoot at the enemy. The sphere trace is pretty big though. It's a big sphere trace. Like that I think would be a miss. Spear trace? Okay. Oh, and then we increase the radius of this. Interesting, when you're falling. What? Okay. Calculate top down. Oh, allow soft aim. So we do have that there. Why isn't it returning it though? Hold on, let me debug this real quick. It is going to false. Why is it going to false? Dot product, relative rotation, hit result, impact point. Dot product is equal to 1 with an error tolerance of 0.00007. What the fuck even shit? What even the fuck? Alright, hold on, let's let me change something. Still returning false. I don't know why, when I watch that value, it's not actually spitting out the numbers, which is really, 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 really annoying me. in theory, this should work. What are you giving? What are you putting in here? 0.9, so it should be true. That should be true. Like, I don't know why that's not true. It's being set to false. Is allow soft aim not being called? Where did we look? Right here. Let me check. Oh, why is that not being called? Calculate top-down fire rotation. Oh, it only calls it when we shoot. We're actually not using the soft aim system at all. Oh man, of course. Of course. Well, okay, we're getting down to the thick of it, I guess. So now we need to go here then, because this is the only spot where this would occur then. Oh my god. Using gamepad. No. Set character rotation. Allow soft aim. Let's see what you get. If we do allow soft aim, what happens? Is it going to show the aim assist cursor on the character? This is broken. Something about this is not right. It's probably because this doesn't actually get the hit actor. That's probably why. Instead, we feed the direct value into the thing. Let me pull up the laser real quick. Am I using gameplay ability system? Not in this project, no. I think it's because it does not have an actor aim assist. I think that's what's going on. I bet you if I grab this and feed it the hit actor, it'll work. The only problem is it's actually not working, actually. It works, but it does not work. That's cool. That's really cool. I think we need a different solution for this. I don't know what this number was. I think it was this. Something like this, probably. I think we need a different solution for this. Or I do this. Hold on. Yeah, I think I'd rather a different solution for this because this is too... It's too connected to the aim assist system, which I'm not a fan of. I don't think that would make sense for this specific thing. I think I want it... Yeah, I think I want this to be something different. Yeah. I have an idea. Maybe once we do the sphere trace and we check if there's an actual enemy underneath it, then we do an actual proper line trace to see if you're like actually aiming at them or something. I don't know. And if you miss, then well, you missed. Noob down. Only thing is I don't want it to be, I don't want an aim assist to be on top of it. I want that to happen. This real elaborate function you got here. It's just a bunch of traces and shit. That's really all that's doing. That's actually all it's doing. It's just a bunch of traces. Just a bunch of traces. Hey, Licky. Thank you for the raid. How's it going? Hope you're having a great stream. Yeah, it's going pretty well. Just figuring out some perspective fuckery, which not really certain how I could fix this. Hey, Mr. Box, what are we doing? So the problem is that in top-down, if you're aiming your crosshair directly at an enemy, but you're in a very specific angle, there are moments where the shot will not hit because it's not really calculating that part. So if you're aiming at their legs, for example, you can see like the difference it has with the character aiming. So this is one of those situations we just have to kind of, you know, we have to somehow like check if you're aiming at the enemy or something. Yeah, I think this would just require a lot of math that I don't know about. So I'm just going to go with the stupid solution, which is if I'm actually aiming at the enemy, let's like actually make it so you aim at the enemy. Like if you're actually raw aiming at the enemy, I think let's just aim where you're aiming and then... maybe that'd be fine. It would be an improvement at least. Like if you shoot near the leg, it actually hits from there. I don't know how to do a check like this though. Like, do I count this as a miss? We just assume skill issue, or do I figure out something if you're like aiming at a distance? I don't know. Don't know. Scary, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Trust me, I don't know how to do any of this stuff either. I'm sure there's like there's that one YouTuber. We should watch that video actually. Aiming in top-down game dev. Where's his video? Yeah. But I don't know if it actually like... I think it goes through this problem, if I remember correctly, of perspective. Yeah. Bunch of math and shit, you know what I mean? It's just a bunch of math. Yeah, I do some aim assist stuff like this too. I don't think this actually goes through the issue of isometric camera aiming like issues. Nothing works. Who made this? It works sometimes. Yeah, I think the least we can do is make it so if your crosshair is on the enemy, just hit the enemy, no matter what. And I think that'll be okay. Admittedly, there is a lot going on in here, but it's a lot of like, hey, if this doesn't happen, don't do it anymore. If this happens, don't do this anymore. This would probably be a good thing to switch to C++, all things considered. There's not a lot going on. Well, then, no, there's a little bit of stuff going on. You gotta be all. I don't have Twitch Prime anymore. Do you still have Amazon Prime? I think you still have it. You just gotta, maybe the button's in a different spot. Amazon really likes to play some tricks. They're like, C++, this would happen faster from my understanding? Obviously. It would probably go a little bit quicker. How much would it save? I don't know, maybe like 0.01 ms, maybe. Maybe like a solid 0.01 ms. Okay. If not in third person, not executing an enemy. Player controller, get hit result by under channel. Sphere trace. Let's then do a check from here to essentially just double check. Hey, now should we do a sphere trace or a line trace? A sphere trace might be better because of at least the shape of our default crosshair. We can go under the assumption that maybe we want to do a smaller sphere trace, not as large as the one that we currently have, and then do a check there. Sphere trace. Another sphere trace? Might get pretty expensive. I could do a dot product instead. Like, I could probably do that. I get the out hit of this. I get the impact point. And then I could do a bunch of math there. Instead of having to do another sphere trace, which would be admittedly easier for me. Hold on. Impact point. I'm about to copy paste this. Or maybe I should just fucking set it to a value. There we go. Yeah, good idea. Reticle forward vector. Sure. Or maybe I should just call it crosshair forward vector? Ah, whatever. Yeah, fuck it. Ah, whatever. Ah. It's gonna get ugly while I get this done. Things are gonna get pretty ugly. The blueprints are gonna get pretty ugly. I'm just saying it right now. It's gonna get pretty fucking ugly. Okay, so. Hold on. God, we're talking like decimal points, man. Also, it would seem that the impact point is actually happening on his capsule, not on his actual body. Zero, zero, zero is over 9998. Okay. We're dealing with some small numbers here. We're dealing with some small numbers. Really small numbers. True. False. In the next game we can we curve bullets like wanted? Dude, I'm gonna make it so aim assist curves the bullet because like... Alright, hold on, we gotta put another decimal number. We need to do 8-5. How about 8-7? This is a disaster waiting to happen. See here, doesn't make too much sense because we are aiming at him. It's just not aiming. Okay, you know what, guys? I think actually we do want to do a line trace. I think we do want to do a line trace. There'd be a way to switch shoulders. There currently is. The default button is Z or Z if you're from Canada. Z or Z. Yeah, I do think I think we do want to do a line trace. Trace complex. Put this up here. Gonna get a little ugly. Let's do for one frame. And let's just, for now, let's just continue this. Although I'm going to do a branch after this. Did I tell you I got my blood work done? It was actually surprisingly insanely good. Hey, good for you, man. Hell yeah. I don't think that's hitting... Is that hitting this capsule or is that hitting... think it's hitting his physics box. Show physics body. Show physics. Show body. Show bones. Show bounds. Show bones. That's not what I want. Show. No. What is the thing to show the physics body? Someone help me out here. I'm an idiot. But B? Bounds? Show BSP? Show... Flag? No. Physics? Body? Man, okay, fine. Okay, guess I'll just... fucking... whatever. I think the line trace is doing the exact same thing as the other ones are doing. I don't actually think it's tracing against his physics body. Let's see, what's going on? His mesh is it type enemy or is it type physics body? It's pawn. Excuse me? Wait, what now? It's what now? It's type pawn. You say what? Okay. Okay, it looks like it's going through it now. Is it properly hitting his head? Oh, you know what? We need to remove enemy. Get him out of here. Put in pawn. Just pawn. You know, cluster? Show flag collision, or is that just for the capture? Let's see. Collision. 2? Oh, there we go. Show flag 1. Show flag 1 shows it. Okay, now we're tracing against his actual hitbox. Good. So now when we're aiming at his leg, we're aiming at his leg. Now the problem is, what if you aim between his legs? That of course becomes the problem with the sphere trace. Or the line trace. Is it becomes too literal. I think use that. Yeah, maybe we just do a sphere trace. Or we just say fuck it, we just trace against his capsule and, you know, whatever. If you miss even slightly, it's fine. You know, balls. I guess we're doing another one of these. It's a bit expensive, but for science. The nice thing is once we... if this ends up returning true and we actually hit something, then we don't have to do the rest of these calculations. Essentially, it'll just skip all of that. Can't trace against the mesh itself. The mesh would use their hitbox, which is what we're tracing against now. The only problem is now, because of that, if you aim right between their legs, we do run into the problem where yeah, we run into some problems. So is 6 too small? 6 is pretty small. I think we might want to... God, it's almost as if we should just do the radius from here. Should just do the radius from here. This additional sphere trace is kind of like overkill. It's a little dumb code. It's a little dumb code. Okay, well, let's see. So if this is true, continue it. If false, go to the other code. If it's true, return node. Impact point, return value true. Bit of jazz, how's it going? Let's see if that will end up hitting him or not. Of course, the problem is... Oh, the laser is actually aiming at him. Interesting. Okay, well, it's definitely solving the problem. If you're directly aiming at him, it'll, like, directly aim at him. There is still the chance, though, if you're aiming a little bit off at a specific perspective, it will not hit. That's just the reality of it. I just realized you haven't updated the super hard panel on Twitch. Oh, I should probably do that at some point. I'm doing good, though. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. So it's not like 100% accurate. You can see that the laser is kind of like... It's not like the most accurate thing in the world, and that's because we increased the radius of this thing. But of course, if I don't do that, I accidentally shoot through the enemy's legs, and then we end up back at the same problem where you like accidentally miss the enemy. Now, one thing that is annoying is the crosshair disables during this, which I don't really like. It's one thing I do not like. Maybe... Is the stream lagging or the game, or is it just me? Is anybody else lagging? I don't have any drop frames, so I'm not sure what it could be. It could be the stream lagging a little bit because of all these lines. It could be that. This does mean that technically, if you're aiming at an enemy, you can shoot them where you want to shoot them, but you have to be like... For me, I don't do that. I aim like on the outside of the screen. But... I guess the possibility is there. Let's just make it so you can shoot through the legs, though. I don't think that's... I don't think it's a huge concern if the laser's not 100% directly hitting where we want it to hit, but... What if we do location instead of impact point? I want to try hitting through his legs to make sure. Like, if I shoot directly at the ground, what happens? Oh, I can hit the ground. There is the off chance where if you aim directly right underneath, you do hit the ground. I think the solution was just increase the hitbox size for their legs, but... Oh, right here. There's a chance where you miss. Damn. Location looks nicer with the laser, but it's not as accurate. Which is unfortunate. So I think we are going to have to just end up using impact point. I think that's the reality of it. If your screen trace hits the ground, you could use the character trace. I think it's a very, very, like right here. Like, even that hit. I think even that hit. So honestly, I think it's fine. Bullet X 100 scale. Increase the hitbox of the bullet. That could be a fix. Huh? All right. I think that's an improvement. At the very least. It's a improvement, right? If you have your crosshair directly on the enemy and we have that, you know, fuckery with isometric view or the camera perspective that is not exactly direct, it at least fixes the problem where it's like if you're aiming at the enemy and it's like, in theory, you would actually not hit them, you'll still hit them. So I think it's okay. However, it seems like we're also calculating this in third person, which I don't think we want to calculate this in third person. I think we'd only want to do this specific calculation in top down. Yeah, I think this would be a top down type of thing. Time to get crazy! You thought that code was bad, wait till you see this one. Get camera mode. Wait! It's not even supposed to do that in third person, because third person goes up here. Hold on a second. Is this still being run through, even though... It's a different thing going on doing that. Okay. We should interpolate that movement a little bit, just so it looks smoother on the character, the player character. I think that would... Obviously some of the jank is probably the laser. It's just, I try to make it literally where you would hit, and having it face forward would be kind of inaccurate and not very helpful. The laser's just kind of a piece of shit. It's kind of... I don't even play with the laser on. So honestly... But still, I should still make some improvements there. Alright, so it's already checking if it's in third person, so that's not happening. It's just a different thing doing that. Okay. Well, this makes sense, I guess. Some improvements could be made there. Switch to a box trace and call it a day. I forgot which one's cheaper, if it was a sphere trace or a box trace. Let's just do that. I think it's fine. la 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 la. If the slow motion ends while affected by enemy stun, breakout is much more difficult. Interesting, interesting. Okay, that's something I gotta look into. How's release been? Number go up? You know, I think any, you know, if you, yeah, it's been okay. If you look at the review numbers, you can kind of see the stuff. Okay, we got a your mom section in here. I don't know what it is about people on Steam. They really like to take a productive thread and just make it not productive. Am I a millionaire? I'm not a millionaire, guys. I'm not a millionaire. I was having the crashes yesterday on Botnik. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, lyric playing it was cool. My 1,000-naire. Sure, I guess. Whatever that means. Got a few thousands in my pocket. All right, so we can mark that off. Aiming at chest or below chest, even though crosshairs on you. Okay. Aiming at an enemy in top down. Aiming at an enemy directly. Aiming at an enemy directly under crosshair should now aim at the physical spot. Trying to figure out how to write this down. Top down. Top down improvement. Aiming at an enemy directly under crosshair should now aim at the physical spot. Okay. Well, it's a bit of a complex writing, but I picked up the game some days back. I've not had time to try it out. Might wait for some of these updates to give a fresh perspective on what these changes are like for a totally new player. For sure, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. Do I plan on putting in multiplayer? A la Specialist 3.0 mod for Half-Life? Probably not. Multiplayer would be a bit of a challenge. What was it aiming at before? The problem is that it will aim, it's just a camera problem. But now that we kind of fixed it, not kind of, but we like added a little bit of a fix. It should make hitting enemies that are right under your crosshair a bit better. There's like a slight aim assist, I guess. You could say there's a slight aim assist now. Very, very slight aim assist, but it's mostly because otherwise, like, you would miss. Like here, if I show my laser, I think the problem is that I don't know if the laser is actually... Oh yeah, the laser is aiming properly. Like if we aim right... Even that's still hitting, so... Now if you're like aiming at the enemy... Well, I guess that one's not hitting. The leg. It's like a rare moment where it misses. Very rare moment. It's just the problem with the camera perspective. Like your crosshair, if you aim up and down at the enemy, traditionally what would happen is like your crosshair would end up going off the screen because of the camera perspective, unfortunately. So it's just, yeah, we had to add like some sort of like little mini aim assist type dealio. But now, what's funny is that it's kind of aiming at his legs now. We should probably make it so like the aim offset or the animation actually adjusts itself to that. So if I hit his leg, I think you see the blood on his leg. Where's the blood? Well, I won't know. It like tries to aim for like the actual body part, which I think is fine. I think if anything, that's a nice little detail. That is something that we do. We do the sphere trace as well. We'll see what people say about it for top down. Something I need to fix is if you try to kick an enemy, it does that little launch thing. I do want to fix that. When kicking and killing an enemy. Okay. Let's do some more stuff here. Throwing weapons at glass, not shattering it. That thing, that's annoying. I do want to fix that. So when you throw a weapon at the glass, it's supposed to shatter it. And it used to, and I put a whole system for that. Now it hates me. So now it hates me, so it's not doing that. I don't know why. Let's find out. Physical weapon. Pretty sure we do a line trace forward. Yep. Here it is. If I start tracing this. Oh, is that? Oh, that's not the right thing. That's a different thing. Where is it? Oh, it's a sweep. That's kind of cringe. Oh, wait, no. We do a trace. It is a very small trace, but it is a trace. Yeah. I think it's just not able to hit the glass because the trace distance is really, really small. Let's increase it a little bit. The only problem is if we increase it, you know, obviously there's a problem where I think it depends on... blah, 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 blah. Hit surface, replace with a pickup. Damage amount. Kill, weapon, throw, damage source, object. That's probably what the problem is. The damage source is object. And I bet you glass doesn't react to object. Well, here we go. Wait, it does. What the shit? What the shit, man? Clearly not, because it's not reading it. Is there a spelling error here? Object. Yeah. Object. Yeah. That seems pretty straightforward to me. I don't know about you, but that seems pretty straightforward to me. Okay, let's try doing a breakpoint there then. I'm being gaslit. This is bullshit. This is some bullshit. Oh, it's playing that instead. I think that's what's going on. No, don't do what I just did there. That's what the hell am I doing? I think it's going through there. Are my breakpoints not doing anything? Hey. Hey. What? Oh, actor has tag enemy. Well, that probably explains it. What does this have? Glass? Yeah. Well, I guess we could just fucking do this then. This would fix the problem. It's okay. You could stop doing that now. I can't wait until we have our VFX back and it doesn't crash the entire game. All right, that feels good to me. At least it responds to weapons being thrown at it. No, I use actor tags, and I don't know when I put that thing in so that the physical weapon relies on it being an enemy. I don't know why I put that in. Maybe it was because you could throw it at an explosive barrel and then the explosive barrel explodes. I could see that. I could see that being a potential thing that was going wrong, which is why I put that in there. Maybe? That's what I'm thinking. But ideally, what the effect should look like, it should be looking like this. It's just there are moments where the shattering, for some reason, crashes people's games. So I had to disable it for the current build. Otherwise, yeah. So here's what it looks like currently instead, which, you know, obviously is not as cool, unfortunately. And I think it's in just very specific levels where it's happening still. I've fixed it in other levels, but let's see. Someone said it happened in Botnik. I've looked all over Google to see how other people fix their Niagara particles crashing their game, and I got nothing. I bet you all it takes is I just have to go in here, click on one thing, and just save the level. Yeah. I turned off pooling. I did make it so I do force solo, which I think is basically turning off pooling. But maybe there's some other checkboxes that I need to press to get this to work. Other than the green guy behind the reception desk blending into the wall. Okay, I can see what you mean by that. Maybe I should put a different guy back there. Yeah, there he is. Kind of funny. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. My partner got me some congratulations balloons for the release. It just says congratulations, proud of you. That's funny. Yippee! Yippee! I thought it was for Independence Day. I'm not American. That's funny. Got obsessed. Got ourselves some balloons up in here. Hey! It's my birthday today? No, it's not my birthday. It's not my birthday. Don't remind me. I'm getting old. Shit my pants, I did. Mm.
9 plus 10
equals 21. 21? Eris, thank you for the prime, man. Thank you. Happy birthday. Guy, it's not my fucking birthday. It's not my birthday. Stop. Stop with the misinformation. I will get upset. Alright, well, we fixed that, I guess. That problem is, fixed the other... Have I slept since launch? Of course. I've slept in, actually. Releasing a game and a birthday are pretty similar. They both age you. That's true. I think I've gained like an extra 2 gray hairs since this release. I swear there's a patch daily. Well, you know, I'm just working on the game. I've still been playing like games, you know. I've still been playing games in between. Yeah. What the hell? Unfortunately, for whatever reason, it started lagging and stuttering no matter what settings I put it on, and I'm not sure why it worked when I first bought it, then it started dropping frames like crazy. Left mouse button, click to fire your gun doesn't register sometimes, I'll be on a roll. Yeah, that's probably the fucking stupid third-person bug thing. I'm on my 50th gray hair during my project. I don't count them, it's a vibe. Getting a little bit of a gradient. Getting a gradient going. Let's, I guess let's focus on fixing that next. Random moments when shooting / mealing doesn't occur. Happens when the cursor's trying to go off screen, losing focus while in borderless mode. Okay. I guess that's the next thing to fix. Making it so the cursor doesn't go off screen. It's really funny because in third person in editor now, it like doesn't happen to me. I don't know why. But in top down it happens, which is very funny. It's extremely humorous. So I guess the goal is, while you're in third person, on tick, we would set the cursor to the center of the screen constantly. Yep. So maybe we would do it here in the third person crosshair section. Or I just make a separate section for it altogether. But that being said, this checks for third person, so I might as well put it in here. I'm only slowing down the punches on the character if you hit. If it doesn't, it's normal. Yes, exactly, Ben. Yeah. We only do a hit stop when it hits something. Would that not make the game run slightly worse? Probably not. I don't think it'd be that huge of a thing, especially if it's just doing 2 nodes, which is checking if we should do it and then doing it. I think Unreal has a hook for mouse movement direction, so you can do it when the engine reads movement direction. Yeah, I could. I think either way, you basically end up at the same situation, though. Like, you're basically just doing it on a tick anyways. So, currently we don't have the condition in. Let's just make sure that nothing breaks. Actually, I think the thing is when the death screen pops up. I think because we're not paused when we go into the death screen, so you can see my mouse cursor is attempting to stay in the middle of the screen. So basically what we need to do is a lot of checks. Set death screen, get death screen. Make sure that this is not valid. And we need to make sure that the chapter end screen is not valid, which is, I think, I don't know if we check for that in this. Nope. I think it's somewhere else. Make sure that this is not valid. What are some other potential moments where we do not want this to run? I guess paused. Although this won't run anyways. So this will stop the issue of the mouse cursor potentially breaking things, I think. What are some other menus that we have where the cursor could potentially pop up? I just want to make sure we don't lock the cursor in a moment where we don't want to lock it. We could check if show mouse cursor is enabled. That could be one way of making sure that player controller. This could be one way of checking that we don't fuck up anything. That could be one way of fixing that as well. Locking cursor should stop. Let's try aim assist, see if that's still working. Yeah, I don't see any issues there. You fix a bug where a game would want players to press the pause button. Okay, so one of those issues is when the player restarts, I think the game is losing focus. And that could be due to this that we're trying to fix here. The other thing is, I think if you're hitting it twice, somehow the pause menu is not clearing the variable, which causes that to occur. That's the other thing that I'm going to try to fix. So it's, I think, two separate issues for it. So yeah, okay. We just need to test this a bunch to make sure that we didn't break anything. That's my biggest concern. This also means that if we move a bunch to the left and then go into the pause menu, the cursor is just going to be in the center because that's where it is. So that's also kind of a nice plus with this. Is that it's always going to actually be in the center. Which players might prefer that. They might find that to be a lot nicer, having that like directly in the middle there when they pause or something like that. So Should be good. Hopefully this viewport size thing is correct. We're gonna have to do a bunch of testing. Fixed random moments where shooting cells revealing doesn't occur. Happens when the cursor is trying to go off screen and losing focus while in borderless mode. Okay. Those should be two good improvements both for third person and first person. Okay. I had players be like, why is this element highlighted when they didn't move the mouse? For some reason I think it is what you just fixed. It really is like you can't please at all. It's this specific bug where it's like input breaks is like, I don't know, it's like an Unreal thing. Unreal being stupid and whatnot, so I just need to make sure that it doesn't cause any issues. I just don't want this to cause issues. I'm trying to think of like what could cause like the death screen and then the chapter end screen. Those are the two biggest ones. I don't think there's any other menus that I need to worry about that pop up without the game actually pausing itself. But let's do a little refresher and let's go through the folder. Would that fix it going off screen and top down too? Not necessarily. So that's the annoying thing, is this fix is primarily because third person players are experiencing it the most. In top down, does not necessarily fix it, unfortunately. So I don't know how to fix it in top down. That's going to be a weird one. Trying to fix it there. I'm not 100% certain for that one, unfortunately. End screen, death screen. Oh, loading screen. Let's see what it looks like with the loading screen. That might be a bit weird. Oh, you actually don't see the cursor in the loading screen? Really? Oh, you do if you're in top down. You do not in third person. Interesting. Okay. I think it's fine. The nail gun's a fun one. It's a very fun, like, goofy, not taking itself seriously kind of gun. Alright. I think that should fix things. Now, I don't know what kind of performance implications it could have, setting the mouse cursor. It's just setting the mouse cursor location. I'm sure this shouldn't cause any issues, but I don't think it would. We'll find out. Pause menu still requiring multiple presses after restarting. Some people experiencing multiple clicks, but maybe due to game losing focus bug. Okay, so let's see what's going on there. I have a feeling that is after clicking a button in the death screen, maybe it's not resetting the focus back to the game. I think that's what's going on. Continue button. Which one is the continue button? Oh, that one. We do continue run. Continue run will hide the HUD and then call continue run. Then it'll respawn the player character. Then it'll set the camera mode. So that one should be fine. It'll set the camera mode. Camera mode will do all this bullshit, such as set focus to game viewport. So maybe it's not the continue run button, but actually this button, maybe. All right. That should fix that. I hope. Like Unreal Engine. Doing random shit. Yeah, you know what? I think the player has not focused the game anymore. In fact, the cursor is now in the second monitor for some reason. Why not? Hey, woo! Surely, things are fine now. Restart, which I think is the one that we fixed. Thank you, Timmy Sweeney. Tim of Sweeney. Can you increase the radius, the range of the pickup weapon, pickup objects? When you get near it, it doesn't pick up. And I saw various videos, notably jack frags, where people get confused too. Like it's too far? I think this one specifically, it's not showing the UI because you already have the same weapon. But I could definitely, the bullets in the cache. Yeah, I could probably increase the radius of that. Let's take a look. Ruh-roh. Why is that happening? Interesting. Might want to look into, I might want to look into that. Let me see. What is the radius of these things? Oh. You know what? It's pretty small. You know, yeah. Oh, the item pick is actually slightly larger. Yeah, I'll increase it. Could be a capsule? It could be. I think past me, for some reason, thought of making it a box. A box. Potentially a box for some reason. I wonder if I could safely replace it with a sphere. Yeah, whatever. I'll just increase it. Increased pickup radius of floating items. So this is the default. Cache pickup works off of item pickup. The box is slightly adjusted in here, weirdly enough. Oh, maybe I should have just done that to the item pickup first. Whoopsies! And then set the scale of this to 3. It is going to change the size of this. Is it? Is it going to change the size of this one? Okay. Could probably increase it a little bit more too, especially the cache pickup, because like it's just cache. Next bug report: pickup through walls. Yeah, probably. Let me see if do we do a check if you can actually. Nope. Wait, yes. Wait, no. Huh? The huh? Ah, whatever. Who gives a shit? I did a pickup through the wall yesterday on the second floor of the church. Hey, well, get used to it because you're going to be doing a lot more of that. Probably will do a lot more of that, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's just make it 5. Whatever. Oh yeah. Wait, what? Is that not a real, is that not the real pickup? Oh, this is the real pickup. Which, by the way, has a much smaller box. So we're just going to default it. Yeah, I think that's fine, honestly. I think cache, we can make it a bit larger because it is cache, like, not too worried about it. So I think cache specifically, we can just make it a larger radius. Whereas the actual like gameplay items might be a little bit like closer. Now, should I increase the radius of picking up weapons? My only problem is if I make the radius of that too big, we're gonna have to, well, we're gonna have to do this anyways, a system to detect what kind of weapon you really actually wanted to pick up. Someone reported that. They were like, why doesn't cache auto come to me? Should you be able to pick up a weapon while in a jump? I think so. Actually, maybe you can't. I guess you can't. All right. Think about having a score event for picking up a secret could help the player understand what the yellow floating mannequins are. Yeah, the secrets need to be fixed up a little bit. I'm thinking I might make it so they stay there, just blacked out if you already have them. If I do make it so there's a score pickup, I have to do that. Make it so you can get that thing back again, even though you may have already gotten the secret. I think that would have to be a given. To be fair. There might have been a reason as to why I made it so you can't pick up weapons while diving, but... Alright. At least that's an improvement. Increase pickup radius of floating items. Cash and single bullets. And we also see the ammo pickup. I want to make sure that the ammo box is also increased. So let's revert that. And also the armor. Okay. What about the item, the C4? Okay, that's defaulted. What about the key? Default. What about the key card? Default as well. All right. Oh, there we go. There we go. And hopefully the little third person stupid mouse going off screen fixes issues. We get less negative reviews, hopefully. Yeah, I guess I'll respond to this later. It started lagging, starting no matter what settings I put it on. I'm not sure why it worked when I first bought it and then it started dropping frames. I wonder if 427 has a memory leak, because someone mentioned that after 30 minutes or so, their game starts lagging and restarting fixes it. Thanks, 427. Fucking, dude, this is why I need to learn C++, so I can just have my own source version of the fucking engine. And then if there's something wrong with it, I can hopefully determine where the problem lies. So it seems like people are running into memory issues. Which is crazy, because that means it's most likely 99% chance happening in C++. I did watch someone today restart the game to counteract performance issues. Read a terrifying article on how easy it is to create memory leaks in Blueprint. Okay, someone fill me in. How does a memory leak occur? Where does a memory leak begin? What is a memory leak? What is like the core thing of a memory leak? Is it something that's in memory that's not being captured by garbage collection? Basically, you leave a variable hanging. Something is not being removed from memory that's no longer being used. But then wouldn't garbage collection capture that, and everything in Blueprint is essentially garbage collected? I don't know. Okay. Seems like we need to start doing some memory optimization then. Garbage collection is garbage? Yeah, it seems that way. Okay, we need to figure out where we have where is the memory issue occurring. Could just be this animation montage and then this whole lineup of shit. Could be that. Hmm. Hell yeah, Nukem. Hell yeah. About the game installing right now. Thanks for creating this. Hey, no worries, Scraw. I hope you enjoy it. I'll probably have another patch later today, hopefully. I just have to play test a bunch. Delegates tend to create that if not handled properly. There might be some delegates that we have to release. It could be... Could be the problem. Bind event to close pause menu. Why is that happening in begin play? Check it out with Unreal Insights and Stat Memory. I'd have to reproduce the issue. So I think what I have to do is just play through the game, and then I'd have to do a logging to see where that memory leak is actually occurring. Do you, who was it that said they saw someone, someone today restart the game to counteract performance issues? When did that start happening, Bill? Was that on a stream? Easiest way to cause a memory leak. That's all, folks. Construct. It's possible to leak something in Unreal if everything's garbage collected. This type of memory leak specific for garbage collected languages. We're not losing reference to that object forever, but we introduce so much longer than we expect reference to an object. The return value of the construct node. Expect not storing return value in any property variables. It's free to go on next. Actually, it'll never be freed until we destroy object with that event. Do we destroy the object with that event? What's happening here and why are the references leaking? Local variables are here to blame. Local variables can create functions are quite handy to store some temporary values. They're freed when they go out of function, but here we work not in function scope, but in the Uber graph scope. Uber graph scope is the top level of all blueprints. There's a space where you can create custom events. Custom events are actually not so different from functions. They have an entry node. They also have a return node, but it's not visible. Can have return values with it, but they don't have their own scope. They all share one Uber graph scope. There's the main difference. No function scope. I dare you to make a sports game? I'll skip that one. What's the deal with the balloons, by the way? My partner bought me some congratulations balloons for the game release. I thought it was kind of funny. That's why everything starts to unintentionally reference each other and leak objects which were passed. Callbacks. Callbacks are backbone of visual scripting. The most improper usage of them, I think, is in timers, and that code would not simply work without persistent Uber graphs. And I know custom parameter timer callback can be fixed in vanilla Unreal Engine. You can actually clear that local variable by hand. So clear the local variable by setting the actual object. Huh. Uh-oh. In our project, I added a patch to clear local variables when leaving events. I think that should be the default behavior. That will completely kill that feature with timer events. Currently, I don't see that big problem. So it sounds like caching is the issue. Function caching. I was talking what they mean by clear variable by hand. So what they're doing here is they're doing a pass by reference. That's what the diamond is. And they're taking this result that ends up getting cached and they're clearing it entirely. So it's clearing that variable that I think is essentially being saved based off of what this article is saying. This gets saved, which functions do basically save the variable like behind the scenes as far as I know. I don't know how, but science, magic. Yeah. Kind of want to get into UEFN again. I'm not ever getting back into UEFN. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Is this recently found? I think people started getting performance issues or memory leaks most likely when 427 came out. So, or like the 427 version came out, which I think is probably patch V 1.0.8. 0.1, I think. Thank you, Millennia. Appreciate that. What I'm trying to figure out is a player can play the game for 30 minutes and then this starts occurring to them. I have a feeling it has to do with something in the enemy system. But we clear all of that. We constantly clear that array. So I don't know. We can maybe work towards reducing our size map. Right? We can maybe work towards reducing this. Reduce the size of this. Is it calling enemy anywhere in here? Do we have a reference to enemy anywhere in here? We got the brute in here, which we don't really need. Brute character. Which then means it is referencing base enemy character, which calls in the BPI combat. So BPI combat is referencing base enemy character. I think if we can kill that hard reference, I wonder if that would fix any of the memory issues. Interesting. With insights, but I'd assume they'd show you memory usage. What is taking up so much? My problem is can you attach insights to a shipping build, or do I have to put it in like debug game or something? Test and above. Will I keep working on the game and adding new content? I don't know about new content. That's not guaranteed, but patches and fixes and polish, improvements, stuff like that, that for sure. I don't know about new content though. No guarantee for that. Someone is saying they lag every time they kill an enemy, so that could be a curious, maybe a direction. Maybe a direction to see what could potentially be going on. Technically, the death script for the enemy is pretty long, so we could be worth maybe turning that into C++. There is a lot going on in here. Might be worth switching that to this to C++. New execution animations. It would be cool. What's that loop doing? It's just going through any children components and then checking if it's a primitive component to set its custom depth stencil. So that's not like too big of a deal. This one is going through all of the different kill types that it's supposed to have and then adds a statistic for it or gives you score for it. That's about it for that one. So not a big deal for that one. I think this one's probably fine. Could probably skip that. You can pull the array right into the node. You mean this one? I think the thing is this just gives us scene components. That wouldn't work. Now, does a for each loop save a reference to the array? Is it possible that this could potentially, is this saving references to something? I don't know. The source is a pure node, so I think not. So the problem is primarily from pure nodes. Let me reread this. But this is not a pure node. And they mentioned something about this saving a reference and gets cached. Pure nodes don't keep references, they're called each time the node. Right, right. Whereas impure is keeping a cached reference of it, which could be our problem, I guess, in this case. I think this is fine. I think because the enemy gets deleted. Okay, when an enemy gets deleted, or an actor gets deleted with all of the variables attached to it, is it deleting all the variables within that actor as well? Or are those persisting into memory? So then, where does the memory leak occur? Where does it happen? What the fuck, man? Where is the damn memory leak? Don't forget to drink water. Thank you. Good point. I think it has to be something in the either in the player character or the player controller then. Let's see if we search up bind. How many bindings are we doing? Oh! Can you bind something multiple times to the same instance? Oh wait, unbind weapon swap. So we unbind it. Never mind, we're fine. Okay, so that's fine, I think. I don't know. What could be causing the lag? We do bind an event to enemy death dispatcher. Cancel grab. Here's the question. Could it be that death is triggered multiple times? It should only trigger death once. No way to leak those. Man. Man. And I think we also unbind this. So, yeah, right here we unbind it. Whenever we do release grab event, we unbind cancel grab. Which I would assume if I toggle this, and then I go grab dummy man's, grab, ungrab, unbind. Okay, so that's can't be that. Death should only be called once. I think there's literally a do once at the beginning of the enemy. So okay, hear me out. If the memory leak is persisting across different levels, it has to be the player controller. Unless they're getting the memory leak while being in the Toronto series. Which then I think that would just mean I just need to do a proper system for loading the levels and shit in there, because that level needs some fucking work. Yeah, I have a feeling the memory leak. Did the memory leak also? Does memory leaks also occur for the player? I just need to know if this is a person that streamed it that had to restart the game. I think if I can look at what they were doing during their playthrough, I could probably figure it out. Bill, are you here? Bill? 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 Oh, Bill! It could be the player controller, because that persists. Sort of. Maybe the loading screens aren't getting... Can I stress test this somehow? Like a level with 500 enemies? It would lag the game with 500 enemies because the game just doesn't really take 500 enemies nonetheless. Hmm. Hmm. Let's take a look through this again. The return value of the construct node. Expect that we're not storing the return value in any property variables. It's free to go on next garbage collection. But actually, it will never be freed until we destroy object with that event. Okay. See if it happens to me. I have a feeling it's just by playing the game, but we could just fucking leave it open. I don't know how I would tell if... I think I'll try it out later today off stream. I'll just play through it because either way I need to do a bunch of play testing with all these new changes and see if shit still breaks. I think one fix would be reducing our size map. Maybe. Could that fix a memory leak? Could reducing our size map reduce chances of memory leaks occurring? Maybe? Maybe? Would leave more memory free potentially? I don't know how you read any of this. It's basically just you go down the list. Whatever's inside of a thing is something that's referencing, the parent is referencing it. For some reason, that would be stand roll right is calling allow next melee attack, and then allow next melee attack has a reference to BPI combat, and then BPI combat has a reference to base enemy character somewhere. Somewhere in here has a reference to the enemy. Where? I don't know. Right here. Add perfect shot calls base enemy character. And so because we have that reference to base enemy character, we now have that loaded into memory at all times. Which, to be honest, I wonder if that's necessary. Or could we do a soft object reference to that? Well, no, because it needs to be a reference, like an actual reference to the enemy. Can we avoid that? What do you need from the enemy? Right, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, what do I need from the enemy? Let's find out. Add perfect shot gets called from the player character, if I remember correctly. We call enemy hit. Oh, we call their mesh. And then we also check if they're valid. Check their mesh again. And then, oh, wait, hold on. There's no way that's it. If that's it, then we can just call character instead, which would be much cheaper. Yeah, we can just call character. Yeah, let's do that. I'm sure this won't break anything. Surely this just won't break anything, right, guys? Character object reference. Character object reference, skeletal mesh. So let's see if that saves us anything in memory. I don't know, it could be an interesting check. I think if any errors pop up, it'll pop up during packaging, so should be fine. So, size map again. How do you refresh this? So now, the only thing is referencing enemy. It's no longer the BPI, so you can see the colors change. Now it's just showing the next thing that's referencing an enemy, which is the player controller is referencing. When you keep a reference to only one enemy at a time, I would assume that's how it would work. You would assume, right? But yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if this would actually fix anything, because technically we'd have a reference to enemies at all times anyways. I thought we were doing it for the leaks. Right. The idea is doing it for the leak. Just in, like, I don't know where it could be occurring, but it's somewhere. Okay, let's look at the player controller. Now it calls a reference to enemy. Where are we recalling reference to enemy? Check actor dead. We can do this in a different way, because when the enemy dies, we give them a tag called is dead. That being said, we have literally a reference, a hard reference to enemy grappled here. But that gets called on the player character. So I don't know. If we call a reference from something else, is it going to end up referencing that thing even though we're grabbing it from the player character? Does that end up affecting our size map? Yes? Balls. Balls. Okay, I think it's the cast here. Which, to be honest, let me check that. Has died. Where do we call this? When they die. You don't say. You don't fucking say. And I'm pretty sure we add a tag to them when they die. Yep, dead. Add tag dead. Does take a bit for that to happen though. Go through quite a bit of shit before that happens, but that should be fine. Okay, so we can, instead of a cast, we could do has tag dead. Oh. Uh-oh. We have a cast failed in there. I'm a little worried about that one. Check actor dead. It would appear we don't call this ever, anywhere. Are we for real? I don't... Do we use this anywhere? Is the reference fucking lying to me? Are you lying to me? Tell me, Unreal Engine, are you lying to me? Because if I delete this, I could be breaking a lot of actors. Okay, so I think this, if it does get used, it's fine. Remove it for science? Well, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure the game won't just suddenly crash. Okay, let's check our size map again. Let's see where we're at. Okay, reference view. No, damn it, man. Size map. So player controller is still referencing base enemy character because I think we have that one reference. So you're telling me if I'm in the wrong place. So I think the problem now is double check. Player controller calling base enemy character. I think the problem now is that one little tiny get, or these two getting the enemy grappled. Is there no way of doing this? If I delete this, if I unhook it, does it still consider that in the size map? If this is not being called at all, does it still call it into reference? I feel like it wouldn't, right? So if I check the size map now, well, let's try. Oh yeah, see, look at that. It's not calling it anymore. Something else is calling it now. Okay, so unhooking things does not unreference it. That's fucking wild. So unhooking it and not even using it and just having it on the graph causes it to be loaded in. Yeah, we're just gonna have to do some we're just gonna have to do some I'm just gonna have to do some playtesting and use insights to figure out where the memory leak is happening. Because I don't know where it's happening. I don't know where the memory leak is occurring. I am unsure. When is it happening? Some people are saying like after like 30 minutes, their game starts getting choppy. It makes me wonder. Yeah, it builds up. So I think the thing is I need to learn more about memory leaks. Like when is it occurring? So this I get that, obviously. This will leak the object parameter. That's crazy. That's crazy. This will just freeze a reference to all actors in the scene, even to your dynamic flying bullets. How many times do I use get all actors of class? That's a good question. Okay, that's not... Oh, I use it to search up post-process volumes. Okay. So, hear me out. For me to resolve... So for me to fix this issue... I'd have to call this. This would be... This would... This would be the way you would fix that. is by clearing the array. I think you, X-Moon. I'm glad he enjoyed it. My only worry is he only played through Toronto series. A lot of people seem to have a lot of quarrels with the Miami series from a level design perspective, which I'd like to fix. That is something I will work on. This will just freeze a reference to all actors in the scene, even to your dynamic flying bullets. So he's saying dynamic flying bullets, which means actors that would delete themselves. Whenever you call new function _1, virtual machine creates a local variable to store its result, and because overgraphs are persistent, they store local variables, local values across event calls, thus making all their function call code equivalent to storing all results in variables. That's why everything starts to unintentionally reference each other and leak. All objects which passed to some event in any way became secretly referenced to that object, and their lifetime became extended the object's lifetime. Objects start to clot into big self-referencing chunks of memory on basically any operation with them. We're going to... Callbacks are a backbone of visual scripting. They'll probably use such a fine. Psst, this example actually does not have a memory leak problem. Right, because it caches that value. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. So I guess I do this in every single instance where I use get all actors of class. I should just do this. Get up, Ari. Here's my question. Next question for the programming geniuses. Whenever you recall this function, does it override any of the past memory it had, or is it going to keep any of the past cache in memory? Candy, it's one of the reasons why I want to learn C++. I think I just need to learn it. I'm a noob. Clearly. Jeez. It's really funny I do this here. Is there another way I could check if we're in the main menu? I was looking at the map in Dune. So get all actors of class. If this causes a memory leak, or it can cause a memory leak because it keeps in reference the cache of the array. If I call this again, will it override its cache, or will it keep the memory of the other things? Right, I would assume it would clear it, right? And then reset it. I guess either way, once we've completed this line of code, we could just clear the reference. But that doesn't work. So we could just clear it. That's crazy though, that you have to manually clear. Is this a pass? I don't even know if this is a copy or a pass by reference. Thank you, Gamer Boss. Hey, listen, I don't know what the fuck's going on either, okay? It'll override the cache, but it won't cause a memory leak. I don't know where this information is coming from. Blueprint, temporary variables don't hold a strong reference to objects. In this case, actors keep it in memory. So is this page bogus? Always wonder how games were made. You know, just alcohol, maybe coffee, slamming your head into the table. Usually that's kind of like how it gets made. So I don't know where a memory leak is happening in the game then. I don't know. I think we would have to do some insights to see if I can figure out where the memory leak is occurring. Using a force garbage collection command. A good way to see the memory leak is to turn the game at 5x speed or something and then turn on the console command force garbage collection every frame, and in insights it'll show the object that's not getting cleaned up. Can I do that in editor? Because in editor, does garbage collection run in editor? Or would I have to do this in a debug test build? It seems like I'd have to do that in a debug game build. I think debug game has garbage collection, but I don't think the editor does, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I'd have to do debug game, and I should be able to attach insights to the debug game. But then what if... No, I think the memory leak would occur on a debug build, not shipping. I feel like... it should be fine. I make electronic reviews, so all the points connected reminds me of modular synthesis routing. You could make the comparison. At least visually, yeah. Definitely, like stuff like this. Can't record and shipping build, but the memory leak will occur in debug builds too. Okay, so I should be able to make a debug build later today. Use insights and for garbage collection. I think that command is different in UE4. I swear it is. Enforce garbage collection every frame to determine memory leak source. Okay. AI, top 10... At Grok, tell me the top 10 causes of memory leaks in UE4. If a single call, let's say for get all actors of X, stores the result and doesn't clean it up automatically upon reaching the end of execution, I'd be surprised. I would be surprised, too. So, Kerm, I want to make a game. I've got ideas, but how the fuck do I do the art of the game? You're asking me? I make shitty graphics. What are you talking about? I'm glad my visual preference of doing everything in functions pays off. Isn't the problem is using... hold on. I gotta read through this shit, because I'm fucking lost. I'm not gonna lie. Also, my eyeballs. My eyeballs! My eyeballs! There we go. Ah, much better. I want it to be 2D and stylized. Ah, you want to do pixel art, it sounds like. The problem is only when you use them in Ubergraph. I use a lot of things in Ubergraph, and I'm pretty sure Ubergraph is just the event graph, right? Is Ubergraph just the event graph? Isn't that just the event graph? I do a lot of things in the event graph, admittedly. There's a lot of things I do in here that I shouldn't be doing, but I do. Can you send me the article? I think there's a lot of misinformation going on. Okay. Here you go, y'all. Why do you call it Ubergraph? It's just called Ubergraph. Even when you do even when you get a crash report, it'll call it Ubergraph. Hey, peace out, Skater. Appreciate it. So any variables called anywhere on the event graph are persisting. Yeah, Ubergraph, I'm pretty sure is a UDK or UE3 thing. I swear I've seen this terminology reading the UDK documentation. I want to say this was like during the Unreal script days. I'm pretty sure. And they just kept the name of it. I'm pretty sure. I remember reading this term in the UDK documentation, which, by the way, is sometimes useful, sometimes not, because obviously some of it's outdated, but yeah, they like to use a lot of leet speak in Unreal. Obviously, it's a lot less. It's a lot more corporate now. You don't really see these kind of leet speak anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. It's like a dying thing now. I'm pretty sure Tim Sweeney was probably the advocate for a lot of the leet speak, but you can drag the reference of an event input on event graph to anywhere you like, meaning that variable must be kept alive for any function to be called on the event graph. Wouldn't that, like, get cleared, though, at some point? Once it's, like, no longer in use? You see that they're changing the coordinate orientation. Yes, yes. Left, right, up. Left, forward, up. I think Epic Games has lost the plot. Have people gotten just too stupid for XYZ? I don't know. I don't know. Why do we trust this one singular article in the first place? I don't know. Because I don't know anything about memory leaks in Unreal, especially with Blueprint, because I feel like Blueprint would catch a lot of that. So let's see if there's any other sources. UE4 Blueprint memory leaks. Well, let's take a look at Reddit, guys. Oh wait, Ari. There we go. I trust Ari.
We're on a roll. We've been fixing everything using my what, why, and how. Let's say QA custom.
The problem I have with this is it's in UE5, but I'm sure the practices are similar. I think this article is completely wrong in 90% of its content. No statistics, code, or proof to their statements, and it contradicts the actual code in the engine that I've seen. Maybe that's why it's so confusing to me. That's why it's so confusing.
To me, Ari, something's wrong. And I'm like, what is it, my child? I will fix it. And they say,
I swear I've seen this before.
How do I and I'm like, because you can find it every single time. It's the thing. I'm like, okay, perfect. And then you leave the game running for 3 days, and then it'll crash. Only on consoles. And I'm just like, the old doesn't run for. And nothing should be leaking in the game. For example, I'm memory with insights, and now I've changed them to be running the memory, and I'm going to run the garbage collector every frame, so we know there's for sure nothing that should be persisting between each frame. So type gc.collect garbage every frame, space 1.
Yeah, that was the console command. That's the one I remember. gc collect garbage every frame or some shit.
That's running.
There's one guy I know who knows about the BP VM. Oh, I know who you're talking about, Miran. I follow him on Twitter. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
That's a good comment.
How is he running with insights?
To know, you should just write it down into your notes.
He has an exe for it. Is there like a specific launch command for it? Yeah, Aaron. Yeah, I remember.
Recommended to do. And now it's done. That's all I needed to do. In this perfect example.
Does the game have a story? Not really. Not really.
where everything is like, dancing on roses. So I'm going to open the trace file. And here you can see the trace, the memory trace. Here we have the flags. You can see the garbage collection here running every single frame. If it's in your way, you can press that little white triangle up there, and it will hide the lines, but I want them shown for this example. And also each one of these is the category of where the memory is being allocated. This is our old low-level memory system, but I'm just going to get rid of them because I'm going to use the new system, which is per stack allocation. So I'm going to select the time.
Do I have access to these new systems? I don't think I do. I just have access to UE4 Unreal Insights. Could I run a log in UE5's Unreal Insights? Would that work? I don't think it would it?
Period here, and then run a investigation on it. So here we have rule. Let's go with memory leaks rule. And I say, give me every single memory allocation that happened between A and B, and then C is when that allocation was released. So give me every single thing that happened here and then was never released. And then I run it, and I say, I'm going to sort those memory allocations by the call stack. And then we have here on the top, 22 megabytes leaked, and I'm going to right-click on it and say, expand critical path, and it will expand down the stack all the way to when the memory allocations are happening. So I'm going to toggle this away. So here we can see exactly where those memory allocations are coming from. So this is the stack again.
Okay.
Opening conventions function, sorting stuff, and show you the casting. And the struct is called partic.
Yeah, but he's calling C++ code.
And then if we have more than 60 stat captures in the array, we will send those stat captures to the analytics server, and then we will empty that array. We're still emptying the array every time it's more than 60. So why is it leaking memory? Why is it leaking? What? I'm what? Yeah, but say it again. Sure. Actually, you know what? You will get the T-shirt. You will get it. No comment. New there. Written it. Because this is a value type. So you just call the constructor immediately. Whenever you do a new, you're creating a new thing of the object in memory. And then if you use the star, it's going to dereference that and create a copy and put that into the array while the original new is floating in memory. It's like, if you're coming from C#, you might write new there, and then you will try to compile it, and also you can't put a pointer type in two value types. And you're like, what's that? And then you Google it.
Okay. Maybe it is my C++ code. Hold on. Maybe it's not the blueprint. Maybe it's the C++. Maybe I'm creating a copy of a pointer whenever I call get actor in viewport. So maybe that's what's going on. Well, let's find out. Okay, so is actor in viewport? Is anything in here? Not that I know if not that I know if I know, if I would know. No. Go away. Is component? No. No. Maybe? No. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. / find memory leak. No, nothing in here. No. You know one thing I do? You know one thing I do? Something I do is I overrode the code in the widget. I overrode on level removed from world. because I wanted loading screens to persist. Only problem with that is maybe it's the loading screens that don't end up being removed. Hold on, how do I find the original implementation of this? How do I find, what do I, where was the find no implementation? No, that's not what it. That's it? It's not it. How is it that this wasn't causing an issue beforehand? It wasn't a problem before. How would that affect it when the player's just sitting there doing nothing? That's the thing. I don't know if the player's doing nothing. I don't know if the player's doing nothing. No, I don't want declaration. How do you find the original, original before the override? I'd have to go to user widget on level removed from world. Go here, find out what it's doing. Ah, right, it removes it from parent, but I manually remove it from parent myself. And that's, I believe, what I'm overriding on the on level removed from world right here. I actually don't know why this code is even in here. Why is that code in here? Is this even doing anything? Is this even doing anything? If world return. If not player controller return. It's not doing anything. This is like physically not doing anything. It's just not doing anything. It's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. Okay, I'll keep this open. Yeah, I don't think this is the problem. Unless we are forgetting to remove from parent something that shouldn't be there anymore. But I don't think that's the problem. It's really funny. Remove from viewport is literally just calling remove from parent. So then at that point, you might as well just call remove from parent, because remove from viewport just does the same fucking thing. It doesn't even do anything different. What is the point? What's the point? What is this doing? It does nothing. Shit's useless. What is the point? What is actually the point? I don't think it's that. But it could be another bit of my C, it could be some of my C++ code. Here we have some callbacks. Could it be the callbacks? Post-launch fun times? Oh, it's definitely fun times. It's definitely fun times. Definitely fun times. Definitely fun times. Try Control F for new in the project. Is there any other like things that are like big giveaways of causing memory leaks? Any other text that I should maybe know about? That's all commented out. That's kind of funny. This is doing nothing. Good to know. Very good to know. Yeah, I don't know. there anything in here that could fucking break? Add dynamic, bind dynamic, and add unique. Those all can cause memory leaks? There was a spot where I saw binding occurring, which happens here inside of the widgets. These only get called when you open... So the custom user widget is only used in 2 spots. In the pause screen and... Excuse me? Where the fuck I am? Script slash thin... No, motherfucker, just show me what is... What is using this? No, not... No, what the... Man, what the shit? No, not script. I'm pretty sure it's only being used in 2 places. Okay? Which is the loading screen. How do you fucking see this shit again? Parent class equals... I think this was what it was. Custom user widget. Aha! It's only used in the settings UI and the loading screen. If I click on the class and select find usages. Am I crazy? I can't see it. Guys? Where's find usages? What the tuna? Does the game have a frequently asked questions, by the way? Not that I know. I don't think so. On the name of the class. Where would I chat? Ah! Wait, no, that's not it. Is that it? Content. Aha! Yes. It is just settings UI and it's essentially this. Parent class equals custom user. Okay. So we just do it on the loading screen and the settings UI. Is there a possible chance that listening for this input action does not clear itself when we close the loading screen? Is that possible? Stop listening for all input actions. Is that... Bind U object. Maybe that is the problem. You know, we might be able to figure out if that's the problem. What we should do is once I do some testing. We should spam the settings menu or the loading screen. This is interesting. It binds... I don't know, bind UI object. I feel like this would get deleted, but maybe it's not. This is maybe a potential hoopla. Could be a potential hoopla. And it's possible that stop listening for all input actions is not actually stopping this, which I don't know if this is our custom version. Listen for input action is very different from listen for action event, which I don't know if we even call that anywhere in here. What about the settings menu? Ah! Listen for input action. Listen for axis event. Maybe this isn't being cleared somehow, which is our own little custom listen for axis event right here. Maybe? I do notice one difference between this and the loading screen. I do notice one difference. We don't clear any of these events. We don't clear any of this events. Is it possible that this axis event just keeps calling it? Is it possible that's what's going on and then we don't clear it? And then somehow maybe, I don't fucking know. Maybe we retain a reference to the settings menu because it's in memory or something? I have no fucking idea. I don't know, I just work here. See, in here, what we do is we call stop listening for all input actions, which let's double click that. Or not, I guess, maybe no. Could it be that? I don't know. Do I create a new copy of the loading screen each time you open it, or is it the same one? I do create a new copy, I believe. It's a new loading screen each time. Stop listening for input actions. Stop listening for all input actions. This will call. It'll do for loop. It's going to go through all of the action bindings and then remove the action binding and then unregister the input component. You could always unbind all before the call. Let me see how I'm doing it. Oh yeah, we do have a dynamic delegate here, by the way. When we create it, we add it to a new binding called f input access delegate. Wait, no. We call it to, where do we add this? We add it to access bindings in input component. Okay, humor me. Hmm. Is an action binding also an axis binding? I don't think so. I don't know if an action binding is the same to an axis binding. Bum ba dum bum bum ba dum ba da da dum bum dum. Is an axis delegate the same as an action delegate? Da, 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 da. Clear. Do I manually call remove? Yeah, I do chrono. So I don't think it's that necessarily. I think it might be these delegates. I wonder if it's these delegates. Is a access bindings. When we stop listening for all inputs, we get number action bindings. Which is here. Return action bindings. Action bindings. We're in fucktown now. Access bindings. Is the access binding the same as a access binding? Gah! Is an action. Stop listening for all input actions. Would be a pretty big leak if main menu was causing performance drops with the playing players rebooting the game. It could be possible that someone's like, okay, here it's the settings menu, is the only spot where we listen for access event, which is switch tab. So the chances of someone getting a memory leak, they'd have to keep opening up the settings menu constantly. In theory. So someone has to open up the settings menu a bunch. Man, I didn't change anything with enemies dying, so it's very weird that some people are getting FPS drops when enemies die. Restart the game for the changes that take effect. I just alt-tabbed while playing, not sure if you're aware or if I'm using it wrong, where there may be a bug with the Deadeye revolver. What's the issue, Apple Zeus? Oh, you know something I didn't test out? If you're in third person and you try to alt-tab, oh, the mouse gets stuck. How do I check if the game's lost all focus? Shit. If I use it while the gun is full, I reload and it doesn't tag anyone until the end. It tags one person and doesn't shoot. If I use it while the gun is full, I reload and it doesn't tag anyone until the end. It tags one person and doesn't shoot. Let me copy that so I don't forget. And let me see. I have to be able to reproduce it. If I use it while the gun is full, I reload and it doesn't tag anyone to the end. It tags one person, doesn't shoot. Use it while the gun is full. It does a reload animation with no tags, and just upon the ability timing out, it tags. Are you in top down or third person? Let's see, maybe. Third person, okay. So let's get a full magazine again. Maybe let's try one bullet off. On keyboard or mouse, do you shoot to tag or is it a different button? Yeah, you just left click, so you just click it a bunch and it should tag. If you can take a video of it, Apple, that'll help me a bunch. And then like, maybe if you have any custom settings that you're using. That could also potentially help. It could be like, maybe one of the gameplay settings. If you changed any in here, let me know. Like maybe, let's see if mouse aim assist fucks with it. It does mess with it a little bit, like it changes where you aim. I guess that would be somewhat intended with aim assist. I'll show my settings and everything. That would help a lot. Appreciate it. It didn't shoot the first guy with aim assist? Let me see. Let's take a look at that. I think I did notice that happening. Interesting. Why didn't it shoot the first guy? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Maybe, well, that's an issue, at least. It could be the aim assist kicking in. Let's see. I think it is aim assist. Apple's do you have mouse aim assist turned on? I think it could be mouse aim assist because we used it without mouse aim assist and that was working as intended. I think it is aim assist. I think at least I don't, but I'm glad I found out. Okay, so it's two different issues. um. Revolver ultimate only hitting enemy that's being aim assisted. Okay, well that would be a different issue. Do you have a Discord? I do. Here, I'll post it in the YouTube chat. Hopefully this link works. Okay, we're gonna have to do some insights today, I think. Some people are saying they get their FPS starts dropping after each kill. After each kill, their FPS starts dropping. So that could be an interesting direction for the stuff, the shits, the lag. Hey, peace out, Mirren. Appreciate the help. Where could the problem occur? Unsubscribe the agent token. What's weird is that this started occurring recently and wasn't happening before. Is it the physics body controller? We do have a is component and viewport in here, which honestly, I don't think we need to check for that. We do check if it's valid, which maybe after a bit, the skeleton isn't really the skeleton anymore. I think it becomes the posable mesh. So in theory, we actually shouldn't be using that, but the posable mesh is fine. Okay, let's see here. That being said, they start lagging immediately when they kill the enemy. So that could be weird. Kick ass? Oh god, that's a fucking blast to the past. Maybe when we destroy delete the owner actor, we should also probably set the skeleton to null. Don't know if that would change anything, but maybe maybe a healthy thing to do just in case. check mesh. Do we clear this timer? We do. Once it decays, we clear the timer for check mesh. So maybe it's this piece of shit, because it also checks if the components in the viewport, which is pretty expensive. I could see that being problematic. Isn't there a built-in way to check if something's in a viewport? I swear there was a built-in... I swear I saw, like... some like node or something that I saw after doing all of that work. And I was like, oh, great. Yeah, nice. Nice. I don't know. In view? I think it had something to do with actor. I know there's something similar. I just don't know where it is. Oh, rendered recently. Yeah, it was actor rendered recently. Right. Was component recently rendered? I have a feeling this must be cheaper than checking if something's in a viewport, right? Right? I feel like this... I feel like that might be cheaper. I don't know. Try to replicate it and I'll send the video over. I would appreciate that. Hell yeah. Thank you. Crazy good game though? Thanks. Check if someone's still doing the calculations after being killed, maybe disable it. The thing is, it could be it could just be this could also be the problem right here. We do this whole like disappear shadow thing. That honestly is kind of like unnecessary. Little detail thing that honestly is probably pretty unnecessary. This is interesting. There's a tick group and a timeline. Would setting these to a different tick group optimize things? I forget which one would potentially be like, okay, I don't really care too much about it. Maybe during physics, I don't really care for it. Like, I don't know. I haven't messed around with too many tick group stuff. I remember reading it a long time ago and I just forgot about it. Yeah, I feel like this is fine. This is probably cheaper. But I'm not sure. We'll find out. I think what it is death is just one big stuff. But someone on Discord is saying that they're lagging. Their FPS drops after each kill. So the FPS drops more after each kill? Could it be our capsule component setting the world location could be causing some lag? I don't know, maybe. Looks cheap. Looks cheap to me too. Plus UE kinda small number. Plus UE kinda small number. Could it be the blood splatter causing lag? Maybe. But why would it start causing the lag now? Gah! Why would it cause the lag now? What is this blueprint doing? It's a decal and a particle system. This could probably be optimized, to be fair. Also, it starts with tick, which I'm going to be honest, I don't think this needs to tick, because I think a timer is its own separate thing. Separate from tick. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Oh yeah, also, I'm noticing the hit spots. Revolver ultimate hit spots appear underneath the enemy when killed. Okay, we got a few things to fix. Apparently, if we don't have an on tick event, it won't tick unless there's any in the parent. Yeah, like this. We don't need to do any tick because the timer manager is its own thing. Now that being said, creating a dynamic material instance for our blood is a bit fucking chaos. That's a bit fucking chaotic. For every instance of blood. It's a lot. It's kind of unnecessary. There's no way of using custom primitive data in a decal, is there? Shit. Can I get the actor location and randomize the integer inside of it without utilizing decal? Or without creating a dynamic material instance for it? But the thing is, with the we don't clear that dynamic material instance, do we? Does the dynamic material instance clear itself if it doesn't get used anymore? It might be the blood. Maybe it's the blood. I'm gonna have to do some debugging. That's the only. Listen, I'm like a headless chicken looking for random potential things that could cause this problem. For now, I don't know what it is. I'm just running in circles, hoping I find something. On that note, I'm hungry, and I will see you guys Monday. I won't be streaming this weekend. I will be trying to release some patches, though. I'm going to try to release a patch today, at least with some of the stuff that we did already. I just have to test it. This I need to fix, being able to Alt-Tab. Alt-Tabbing doesn't allow the cursor to go off-screen due to the above attempted fix. Okay. I've been wondering if you're surprised by reviews mainly calling your game a third-person shooter, even though that wasn't the original vision for the game. It is what it is, Contra. I'm not surprised by it or anything like that. I think I knew that people would probably lean a lot more into the third-person perspective, so that's okay. If anything, it was an experiment, and I think it was a pretty successful experiment. The fact that so many people are finding the third person to be the more enjoyable thing, right? So yeah. Said he found the problem in YouTube chat. I found the problem. I accidentally made my grab key and alt key to the same thing, so I was trying to deadeye grab. Oh, it's fucking funny, man. What do I do there? What do I do? What if you want to ultimate while grabbing a guy? You know what I mean? Like, okay. All right, well. I don't think there's a way for me to force it so you can't bind something to something else. That's my problem there. I don't know if that's exposed to me in, maybe? I allow multiple bindings per key. I'd have to look through this. Yeah, I'd have to look through this to see if I can maybe disallow that from potentially occurring, but at least you figured it out. At least you figured it out. That being said, you bringing up your bug brought up other bugs, so hell yeah, legendary. All right, anyways, I gotta eat something, and then I gotta work a bit more on this, and then I gotta fucking, I don't know, figure out this lagging when killing enemies bug. That's no fun. So I get where people are coming from? Yeah, I don't blame them at all. I don't blame them. I'm not really surprised by it. I think it's cool. And obviously the game has appealed to a broader audience of people that are not just in you know, not necessarily interested in the top-down view, but are more interested in playing it in third person, so yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. That's so weird. Why people are getting FPS drops after killing enemies all of a sudden. I don't think I changed anything, which is crazy, so that's weird. Anyways, I will see you guys at a later date. On Monday, probably. At a later date. Then I'm gonna figure out where the weird memory leak is occurring. The game is so much harder for me in top-down. I'm sure some people will find it harder because they're mostly just, you might not be used to it, right? So it's like one of those things that you kind of, as you work with it. Anywho, have a great weekend, guys. I got to do a bunch of contract work too, so this is a busy weekend for me. Very busy week. Very busy weekend. It's not really a weekend. It's more like a week start for me and whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat some cake. See you guys later. Goodbye.